Hey everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to the next step in the build of this trough for my antique treadle grindstone. So, as you can see in the case, I've already drilled the holes where I want to pound the cut nails in. The nails have been drilled in both the case and in the bottom. So, that part is ready to go. The only thing I have left to do is pound in the groove to make that traditional shipwright's boat joint, right? And the whole reason for that joint, or for this part of the process, right, I'm going to pound a groove in here, compressing the fibers of the wood, and then I'm going to plane it down to where it's all flush or almost flush. And that way, when water seeps through the bottom, because this is the bottom, right, it'll be flipped over. But when water seeps through the bottom between the piece of wood that's here and what's joining with it, it gets pounded onto it. That wood that's compressed will now raise higher than, or in this case, lower than the wood that's around it, creating a natural caulk of sorts. It's going to create a natural seal between the wood. So that's why I'm doing that, and that's all I really have left to do before I pound this on. So I tried the coat hanger wire, and that wasn't doing it for me. It wasn't cutting the mustard. It was not putting a groove in there deep enough that I wanted. Nor was it stout enough to handle the abuse, really. So what I ended up doing, I went out into the shop to find something comparable that I could use, and I found this old jeweler's file that's seen its better days, and I'm going to turn it around and use the other side. This I've tried out on a scrap piece, and that, well, obviously a nice straighter, hopefully, version of that is what I plan on putting on the rim of this board, of this whole outer rim right here. Hopefully that works out. I haven't done it yet, so we'll see. And I have all 12 cut nails prepped and ready to go. They've been wire wheeled, so there's no rust on them. They soaked in boiled linseed oil overnight. Not really for anything else other than to keep it from rusting while I was at work. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get cracking at putting this groove in. I've never done this before, so I don't know how this is gonna go. It could go either really well or it could go terribly wrong. So I don't know. Let's just jump into it and see how it goes. Because I could pound this groove in all I want, and it goes great. And then I put the bottom on it, and I start pounding these cut nails in, and wood starts splitting, and all kinds of nastiness starts happening. And, well, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how all that plays out. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. I don't know really how I can do the corners other than just kind of working it around a little bit, because I have that tapered sliding dovetail right there. I guess I could just go right up, kind of outside middle of it, I guess, and then just, I haven't really thought that part out yet, but well, let's just maybe we can just go right across the joint. We'll just do a little 45 right there. I just don't want to pound it really too far. I guess it really doesn't matter too much. Just do 45s on all of them. And as long as it goes through the middle, that's where I want, because I'm going to go through the middle of this board. Alright, and I'm just trying to really I want to get, so far this is working out alright. I don't see any cracking or anything of that nature. Now I'm going to go just outside. I'm going to try anyways to go just outside. I guess it really doesn't matter because the cut nails that go in are going to wedge that wood, so I don't think it's really going to matter whether I go straight. So I'm just going to go straight down the middle, whether the nail's there or not. And to keep it real here, when I did this, I lined it all up. I drilled all the holes in the bottom piece first, then I transferred all the holes. But when I drilled through here, the holes didn't necessarily come out exactly perfect, because I tried my best, but it didn't come out exactly perfect on all of them. There's a few, like this one here, mainly this one and this one, but this one's off a little bit. They're all off just a hair. Very few of them are like dead center, but they're not off so far where it's going to cause me problems, I don't think, anyway. We'll find out. So let's get to this. I'm making this longer than it needs to be, but I've never done it before, so. I'm not trying to do a hack job either. Well, looking good so far. I'm just kind of going past too, so I did, if you can't see, I just kind of went straight across. I didn't go all the way to the outside, but I went straight across, and so it'll be a corner here with the 45 that's inside the corner a little bit. So. I'll tell you, this mahogany is taking the groove pounding a little bit easier than that cherry is. It's kind of going for it, and it's working. Yeah, the top's not quite as even as the bottom is, but let's see if I can get something under there to. No, that's not going to work. Use some. Well, that'll work, but we'll see. Better. As you can see, I'm pounding right in the middle right here. That way this end piece isn't going straight in and just totally damaging. I caught it a little bit there, but I'm trying not to. So that went a little bit faster than I thought it would be. That part anyway. And it looks like I got the groove pretty even. It's just one groove. Not bad, huh? But that's where, see how you can see those 40 or sort of 45s. They're on the corners. Not that's really necessary, but I don't know. I just did it. Alright, so the next step is to clean it down. And I made this little piece right here to kind of go in the middle. That way I can clamp without squeezing these two boards together. And let's see how that goes. And I'm going to go right. It's clamping on all four, but it's the major weight should be right there in the middle. And I just want it to not shift on me. Trying to judge the grain right now. And it's a little tough to see. I think the grain goes... I know the grain goes primarily in one direction on both sides. And seat it into the vise. And see how she goes. Now I want to get even cuts because it's already leveled off pretty close, so or it's good, so I don't want to, if I take it off in even cuts, theoretically it should stay close to where it is now. Oh. This is always the tough part. I think as long as I go cant like that, it should be alright. And it's getting there. Take a little bit deeper cut. I'm just monitoring because I want it to go just before it gets, before it gets flush. And I went losing count. I think that was maybe 4. Getting closer. Just in reality, I just got to get them flush. I don't need to count my reps on the outside boards. All right. It's like already starting to disappear in some spots. Almost, anyway. Take maybe one more pass and that should be good. Actually, I'm going to take this one pass. And we'll see how she kind of lines up. How flush she sits anyway. If she sits flush, then we're going to go ahead and start nailing. I have an orientation mark. Okay, just making sure that I'm on there the right way. Alright, so there's a teeny tiny bit of wobble this way. I think an easier way to figure this out would be to turn out the lights and see. I've got a light and I'm putting it in the box to see where the light is shining or where it's not shining out, and then I'll just take the meat there. Alright, so I got a little bit of meat to take right here and here. Or no, not there. Here and here, and a little bit right here. So I want to be just real gentle. And it was a little bit on the ends too. So I just want to make sure I'm went against the grain there a little bit. I could get my joiner out right now, but the irons aren't sharp. Not super sharp anyway. It's just kind of this is more of me seeing how flat it is, and it's taken off right in that one spot that I want. So that's good. But it really isn't a matter of how flat this is, because that board would have to be absolutely perfectly flat for this to be perfectly flat to mate up, right? So since I know that this one isn't perfectly flat, then it's not going to Alright, I think I had it. Yeah, I'm getting my orientation again mixed up. Alright, there we go. That's better. I had it on upside down. There's still a little bit left to take off right here on these 2 points, because this is solid and this is rocking just a hair. So that means that these 2 corners right here need a little bit shaved off. And probably right on the end, but I'll check that in a minute. Try and get a feel again for exactly how much. I can still see the groove in some spots, so I know I'm not taking off too much. I'll do it again. No. Looks like I took off a little too much that time, so now we're kind of chasing our tail. Go a little bit less. And we'll go with the light. Well, that's about perfect right there. Let me check with the light. Alright, so the verdict is that there's the same amount of light passing through everywhere except for right here on the end. And that the groove is pretty deep too, so it's taking a shaving, so I just kind of want to join it off of the side here and then off of the end. I'm kind of going against the grain when I go that way. I just take. That felt real good right there. Alright. That should be good. I'll check it one more time and we'll nail this sucker together. Not with the light so much. Oh, that's really good. Alright. I'm going to give it a sandy check with the old eyeball, because the nails will take care of the rest. Alright, so looks good. So now it's time to pound the nails in. Let's get the nice tools out of the way. Making progress. I like it. Alright. I think we'll need these two much anymore. So what I'm going to do... Oh, that feels so good. Just get it lined up. And I'll clamp it. Nail the first few in, and then we'll go from there. So I just want to clamp it really light, and then we can tap it into I think I might have got that on the money. I left this just a hair wider so we can plane it down. Leave a little bit of room for planing. And it's just a little bit longer too. And that's good right there. Get a good solid clamp on there. I'll check periodically through the pounding. But what I'm going to do is, since I don't want to pound on my vise, I'm going to pound. I'm basically putting the clamps in the tool well and off the edge. So well, let's not spill the coffee. Alright. Now remember, well, I want to go in with the outside corners, and I can remove the clamps and we can do it just straight on the table. Well, maybe, yes, that should be fine. So I have to go, purposely drilled two different, if you're joining for the first time, I purposely drilled two separate size holes. This hole right here was coming through this Purple Heart was 3/16, and it was all the way through, obviously. And then I went about 1.5 inches deep coming down here with the 9/64. I think a 5/32 would be fine, maybe a little bit looser, obviously, but I mean, these are nails, not machine screws, so either one I think would be just fine. But you have to go with the grain. The only one that I'm not going to go with the grain are these 4-end ones, because obviously they're cross-grained, the board and the cherry and the Purple Heart. But I'm going to go with the grain of the Purple Heart because there's less of a taper at the very end where it meets the cherry, so a little less drastic there. So we have a little bit more room for error on the cherry ones. So I guess let's see, kind of hesitant a little bit, but and what I mean by with the grain is you can see the one, it's longer that way than it is this way. So I'm going long ways with the grain. I'm trying my best to keep them straight. I'm also a realist. I'm sure they're going to go a little bit crooked on me. I don't think it really matters that much. I don't think we need the clamps anymore. This is pretty much on there already, so could just drive them all home, but let's see what the inside looks like, if it's splitting any. No, everything looks good so far. Sorry, I don't have volume control on my hammer. So far, so good. And as you can tell, they're tight. But I'm not putting all the force in the world on these either. Just trying to be careful. Alright. Now you're not going to see it in this video, but I'm going to come back. I didn't bring it in here, I don't think. I guess I do got it. It's my punch set. I'll go ahead and set these a little bit deeper than the wood. The appropriate one. There we go. All right, everything stayed lined up. So let's try these end pieces. See how they go. I guess they go a little bit cockeyed. Might be a good thing. All the holes are lining up beautifully, so that's good. I'm just curious. So far, it looks really good. The biggest pieces I was worried about was these cherry pieces because they're against the grain, but we haven't driven them all the way down yet either, so. Perfect. The hammer actually seems to be sinking them down pretty good. Give them a couple whacks. Everything sits good and flush. No rocking. Alright, so the only thing I have left to do on this whole thing, besides the finish, obviously, is I gotta finish getting the trim off a little bit here on the edge that I left over, and then the end pieces. That'll take a little bit of finesse work with a plane to get it where I want it. And then, like I said, I'm going to come across and do some kind of decorative piece across the top to kind of arch it over, and then it'll be done and ready for business. Well, I still have to do a little bit of truing on the, I got a little bit of truing left to do on the treadle stone itself, the actual stone. And she'll be all ready for service. It's taking a little bit longer than I expected, but I've got a lot of other things going on in my life since I'm single and I live alone. I don't have everything has to be done by me. So thanks for having patience with me as these projects come along a little slower than normal channels would, but coming along nonetheless. So far, so good. Alright, if you're digging what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, do whatever you're going to do. Friends and family, I love you. Everyone else, I'll see you when I get all this laid out and we start taking off these decorative pieces. Maybe tonight. I don't know. We'll see if I can decide on a design. Until then, I will see you later. Peace.